Attention all Phoenix and Scottsdale residents. Are you thinking about moving? Are you waiting to invest in real estate and start bringing in some passive income? Are you just curious about what's going on in the market? Then it's time to talk to a real estate professional. Make the smart move and call Dugan Grant with Berkshire Hathaway Home Service 480-506-7890 or Dugan at thecollinercollective.com. Who's been the most drunk on air? Let's just be honest here.
Out of all of the real sharks,
I'm also probably the most blatantly drinking.
Yeah.
Because I don't even put them in a glass. I will like have a tall boy out in plain view.
No, I got that, but I mean, you've been annihilated before, Luke. I don't know, and I love you, but have you ever watched the Space Jam clip we did? You
No.
were absolutely
Just gone.
Is that why you kept messing with his hair?
Huh?
Like I watched that one last night, and you kept messing with your hair. Like it was longer, and you kept fucking with it.
Oh, you're talking about the space. I hate myself on camera, so I don't watch any of this shit. So,
welcome everybody to the Real Sharks podcast. It is your host and humble movie guru Rob with his two co-stars as always, Steve and Lucas Maximus. And we have a new addition to the Real Sharks crew now, Donna out in KC, and KC stands for Kansas City. So say hi, Donna.
Hello, guys and gentlemen, ladies, all of you.
She's going to be joining us to give this sausage party here, some new breathing room because we all know it's been a sausage fest on this show for way too long.
right?
So, and I blame Steve for that a lot.
Listen, I had a strict males only.
Yeah,
for
he
years.
was like, there can't be any girls. He's like, girls. When I think of movies, I don't think of the women. I try to take the women all out of the films.
just dudes.
That
So
is
this was the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah, I actively
Little
watch movies and TV shows that do not have women in them, only men.
Only men. And for some reason, I just think sometimes that makes the movie better. And all my YouTube friends tell me the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Favorite.
For those of you who didn't guess that, our audience, that was clear sarcasm to all that toxic masculinity of people that think that cutting females out of films is exactly good or, the point of a plot in a movie, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's I mean, I can understand. There are many films I think that should only have men in them. The Birdcage, Rhodes, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Manly films about men. My type of film.
I like how you started with the Birdcage. That's a good one. A movie of for men by men.
For men by men.
Yep, there we go. So I don't know if you guys heard, but apparently someone has heard, and his name is Henry Cavill. Probably heard this podcast, and he probably didn't like what we had to say because Henry Cavill is officially out as Superman.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, not of course because of us, ladies and gentlemen. Although that would be hilarious. No, it was actually because they wanted to go with a younger Superman.
Why, dude?
And dude, Henry Cavill looks pretty good as it is. I mean,
It's fine.
I mean, Donna, wait, do you know who Henry Cavill is?
Yes, actually, I do. I've actually watched Spider-Man, Superman, all the DC Marvel stuff. I can kind of see where they want someone younger, but he did really well. Why change it up to someone that we may hate? That is Superman.
Okay. I mean, I personally like him too because I think they should at least. Well, they have carried it on for the few films that the Superman transition of the costume and everything like that, which is a lot better. So I don't know. What do you think, Steve? What do you think about Henry Cavill's officially out and of this situation?
Yeah, I agree. I think they just did him dirty, dude. He's out for the second time. Like he was out, then they brought him back as a teaser in the Black Adam post credit scene, and then they just oust him again. It's kind of a big slap in the face to this actor.
Get back to your freaking Greek god movies.
Right. Or like he would go back to The Witcher, but he left that.
Yeah, he left that too.
For Superman. So he's out of a job of Superman and Witcher.
On The Witcher, I'm still trying to catch up on that. So why not?
It's all right. I mean, I'm not gonna get off topic too much, but I know a few of us here like The Witcher. I just think it's okay.
Yeah.
I never played the game, so I think if you played the game, you'd probably be a little bit more into it, I guess. But I just think it's okay. Luke, what do you think about the new horrific news of Henry Cavill?
I think you do need to kind of think about it in the context of what's going on overall with DC and Warner Brothers, because we also had that news come out about like the Wonder Woman 3 movie happening. We had a lot of ongoing projects that were canceled. We then had, of course, previously the whole Batgirl thing, all of those other movies that were slated and were like in certain levels of completion, and then they just completely drop it for the tax rate. You then throw that on top of what's going on with HBO Max, that they're now pulling. Not only did they cancel a show that they renewed, they said renewed, canceled it anyway, and now they're straight up pulling Westworld off of HBO Max. Which again, the Westworld was never the most popular, but it was still a very big show, and that essentially means that like an extremely big show that is an HBO show will not be on HBO's own streaming service. Where are they going to get it? Like, where are people actually going to? They won't. They'll have to rent it somewhere, or presumably buy the Blu-ray in that weird, dirty corner in Best Buy. What they have left of media, right by like the candy at this point. No, it's such an absolute. It's such a weird thing going on right now. It's like nobody is in control. I actually don't even necessarily believe that this is the final call. I don't know. I believe it is just as likely that in 2 weeks' time they say, "Oh yeah, actually Henry Cavill's coming back." There's no plan. They didn't have a plan, and then they're going to try a new plan, and then they brought in James Gunn, and he says, "I have this plan." But there's no.
I am the one that will fix it for you.
Exactly.
That was his plan.
Right, and this is very upsetting because I really like James Gunn.
He's done a good job so far,
Suicide Squad.
I think this would have been a good direction, but I think he is being hamstrung by the fact that like this Warner Brothers Discovery merger is just so fucking chaotic. There's just nobody's going to be able to make any hard decisions until like basically the what's the word? Basically, once the storm hasn't passed yet. So there's not any decisions being made. Last final point is, we are now coming out to find out that Black Adam is not going to make its money back because it was too expensive. And then not only that, The Rock full-on used falsified information to leak to the press that they were.
Rock.
Yeah, and he doubled down on it too. He doubled down to say it would make its money back.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson.
There you go.
DC and Warner Brothers is just it's
flames.
The company is in chaos. So we can't even talk about any creative decisions, any sort of moving forward, any strategy before they just stop the leaks, before they basically plug the leaks and stop the ship from sinking, because it's it's just absolute. It is a madhouse. It's a madhouse.
It's a madhouse. Just like Charlton Heston once said.
Yeah.
All right, so my dear brothers and sisters out there listening to the Real Sharks podcast internationally and locally. This next subject is probably going to be one of the more interesting ones here now that we have a female on cast, because outside of the show we were having this discussion and it got pretty funny. So they are starting to do, and it's already in production. They got the trailer, little sneak peeks and everything of the new Barbie film. And this has, of course, starring Margaret Robbie, Ryan Gosling as Ken. It's going to be directed by Greta Gerwig. It's going to have Emma Macri in it. Will Ferrell's going to be in it. Shimulu's going to be in it as another Ken. So let's see here. I want to. Oh, and including Michael Cera is going to be in this film as well. So let's it has a budget so far as well. I want to mention is 100 million so far. This is done, by the way, Luke, by Warner Brother Pictures.
Mm-hmm.
This is being done in that chaos. So we'll
Yeah.
see how this film comes out.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask everyone, my audience, and this will probably be the poll for this show. Do you guys think that, The Rock, he got to don the role of Hercules? Brad Pitt got to don the role of Achilles. Ryan Gosling's going to be Ken. Now, our other co-host, Dave, is not here, but I will defend what point I know he was going to make. And Dave, I know this is what you were going to fucking say. I know this is what you're going to say. It is not a honor to play Ken because of the joke, you're flat in front like Ken. Basically, you're the perfect man with no dick. That has been the idea of Ken for a long time. I mean, am I wrong here, Donna?
No, you're not wrong at all.
He's the personification of what a perfect male should be without a
Yeah,
penis.
so much without a penis. If I wanted to have a male play without a penis, it'd probably be Will Ferrell, because I cannot stand that actor.
Oh!
Something about him, no matter what he plays in, he's just annoying. So.
I love that she's on the show, because we have a whole split down the middle on a lot of, because we love Will Ferrell. So that's great. But so that's going to be the question, our audience: is it an honor to play Ken? And I personally have to say yeah, because they're basically saying you're the perfect male specimen for women to be in love with emotionally. They could have picked Robert Pattinson from Twilight, but they didn't.
Oh my goodness.
They did. That's the whole premise of it.
Yeah, but vampires aren't sparkle either. So.
Yeah.
Love it. Vampires aren't special either. Luke, what do you think about this film?
I'm genuinely very fascinated by this movie because of all of the people behind it. Like the thing for me, it's like, Greta Gerwig is one of the best directors working right now. She's responsible for Lady Bird. Last year she did Little Women. I'm probably there are other films I'm probably not mentioning. And so
Frances Ha, White Noise, No Strings Attached.
And so the fact that she is putting herself into this project, like there had to be something really good here going on. And then of course you have, Margot Robbie, and Ryan Gosling, and all these people like on there. Like it sounds like they're doing something really. It sounds like they're trying to do something really interesting. I don't know if it will come out that it could, it might not be, but it is. It's truly a fascinating project in terms of what they're doing, and I don't feel that a lot of these actors and the people behind these projects, I don't think that they would do it just if they thought it was a quick cash in.
So you think there is an audience for this film in this big post Roe Wade?
Yeah, I mean maybe
culture.
Well, certainly it is going to appeal to. Not for me, but certainly the idea behind it. I think, Barbie has been in pop culture since like the 50s. So, this is something that's going to go across a lot of age line. Like this is a big generational thing.
1959, March 9th, 1959.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of, of grabs there. So we'll see. Again, that we only have a little piece of information to go off of. So,
Donna?
I don't know. It's a 50-50 for me. So I have two girls. And so it's like, are they going to do it where, like I was saying earlier in our little group text, it got a little heated and someone threw a football flag. Is it going to be where it's appropriate for kids? Like they're going to show the value of everything, or is it going to be where things are nowadays shoving, gay mechanism down our throats and stuff like that, and they're going to flip it over? Is Ken actually going to be dress appropriate, where I don't have to explain to my 8-year-old what that little bulge in Ken's freaking boxers are or anything? Like, it still needs to be kid appropriate. They're doing live actions like Cruella de Vil, which I have yet to watch yet because I've been busy with work. But all these live actions and stuff, and then people are throwing massive fits, like the Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid's black. More power to her. Keep it appropriate. These are kids' movies, and they're shoving adult problems down their throats.
Okay, that's an interesting point here with the Barbie. Um, Luke, what do you have to say about that?
I guess the question is this designed to be a kids movie? Actually, is this
right? Correct?
Is it actually like a Barbie movie, or is this something the same way? It's gonna be a bit of a pull, but stick with me. Is it the same way the Joker is a Joker movie? Like that's a
could you just imagine that twist? Like all of a sudden, Ken just murders Barbie.
Well, no, not that sense.
Blood on his face.
More the sense that like Joker is designed for an adult audience.
Correct. Rated R. Split the audience down the middle at first.
It's not meant for kids. So that's. I don't think Barbie will be R. It'll probably get PG-13.
Yeah. PG.
So that's my question: is that like, is this for kids or is it for adults who grew up on Barbie?
Correct.
That's the question. So we don't have a rating yet, and there hasn't been a trailer. So that's the question.
It's playing before the screening of the new Avatar.
Okay, that's okay. So that's
we'll see.
So we'll see. We'll see. So which means that we will probably get the trailer out tomorrow. Then
I want to point out on this here because I was looking over the cast and what they are labeled here. You have Will Ferrell as the toy company. That's what it says right here. His role is apparently it just says toy company. I'm gonna assume that's probably toy company owner. Oh, toy company CEO is his role. You also have Shima Su here as another Ken. I want to see, and I'm throwing it out there, my audience, because I bet you this is what it is. I bet you it's like kind of a meta, almost like a real life Toy Story. I would think almost you're gonna have some kind of like toy store, CEO toy company, or maybe he's basing it off the real life version of these people, and that's what Will Ferrell is. Or maybe it's like he's going to this dollhouse every single day and leaving, and all of a sudden they come alive, Toy Story status. I'm just kind of saying what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a meta of like half real life, half them being dolls at some times.
Mm-hmm.
That's so it's like I thought so too, man. I think going back on what Luke was saying, there's no real like live action kids movie that's specifically for kids. It always has to have some type of meta humor for the adults, and I feel like this is gonna be the same. It's like geared towards kids, but also having like some like dark humor here and there for like adults. I also feel like it's just going to be the every movie. We're going to get probably a musical number. We have a bunch of other Ken dolls, a lot of Barbie dolls that are from different races. So they're just trying to fit everybody and include everybody in this film. And, that can either be really, really good or really, really bad.
Steve, do you not remember the first time? Hold on. I'm sorry, Donald. I just want to make one little point here before I let you go. Do you guys not remember Enchanted? Do you remember that film?
Yeah, but that was definitely kids.
That was kids.
Yeah. Really? Do you guys not remember how much sexual tension was in that film with the characters? There was a scene where she falls on him naked, and they're like, "Oh God." That was never really done. and there was a lot of innuendo towards adult situations. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying if you make a film generally kind of towards both audiences, like you try to put the whole wink wink, this is adult humor, wink wink, this is kid stuff, it does sometimes come off, I want to say, a little, you know, wishy washy. That's just my opinion on the
Yeah.
like a movie like Enchanted. Go ahead, Donna.
So, what if it's like a movie? I don't know if you guys remember this movie or not, but you had said something about possibly like being a toy maker. The first movie that came to my head was Small Soldiers.
Yeah, small. I love that film. I personally, that's a guilty pleasure of mine. That movie's so I mean, it's not bad, but it's like the whole marketing that they had for that film. They wanted that film to be so huge with
Because
all
all
the
the
merchandise.
names, yeah, and all the
I
merch.
mean, I never seen a PR. I mean, it was like when when George Lucas bought the Star Wars toys, he didn't think it was going to be a big deal, and like they made Star Wars toys and they ran out. This movie, they're like, oh, they're gonna love this film so much, they're gonna want to buy the toys so much, and it was
Yeah.
like it was
Then
exactly the opposite.
nothing.
I'll buy Ryan Gosling, Ken.
Okay,
And
okay
There's
that
going to
that
be one.
that has to be. I will buy that next to Black
then he'll
Jesus.
make out with my Optimus Prime. Like in the stories I write.
Cheating on your street sharks.
Oh my God, that is incredible.
Oh,
You heard it here, our audience.
Man.
Okay. So I we are sitting on the precipice. Tomorrow we don't know what's going to be the reaction. It could very well blow the goddamn screen off the off the wall. It could very well kill every audience member that it shows Indiana Jones style. I personally hope it's going for that, and I hope James Cameron kind of has the idea for that.
Jeez.
But we are sitting on the dawn of Avatar 2.
Avatar 2. It's coming out tomorrow.
Yep, probably one of
Tomorrow.
the most expensive films to date to
To
ever be
date, pretty much,
created. We
yeah.
talked about this, our audience, done in a 300,000 gallon tank. The actors had to hold their breath to do some of the scenes. Now, if I didn't told you that, would you honestly respect the effects more, or would you have given a shit? Honestly, honestly, ask yourself that before I told you that. So, the special effects are great. I got that, but I didn't see anything really like, oh, they had to hold their breath underwater to do this. Incredible.
Yeah, like what is the whole point of us knowing that, Rob? If you're gonna go into the film and be like, yeah, it's I don't care if they're holding their breath or it's CGI. What difference would it have made?
Right. And see, here's my other point though, and this is what I'm gonna say. I'm probably gonna go out here, and my crew can go ahead and push back on me if they want. But as your humble movie guru and host, I am actually predicting this movie is not gonna do that well. And I know a lot of you are saying, "What?" But there's critics already saying it's awesome, saying it's this. This is why I say that. I gave our crew a list here, and some of these films that have come out in recent times for CGI that have been some of the most expensive films to date is very interesting, and there seems to really be a pattern here. And while some of these you can't say, directly are a flop, Rob, because they still spawn some sequels, they definitely are the beginning of the end for some of these films here. And I think that the films that came after them were definitely lacking as well. One of the most expensive films was Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom, which had a budget of 170 million. I hate to say it, but everybody, that movie sucked, and we reviewed that movie before. That movie was terrible.
I would agree with you. Like that movie let me down.
Here's an interesting one I think we'll be split on here. I'm actually really interested to hear what Luke has to think about this one.
Okay.
Alice in Wonderland, the 2010, cost 200 million. I have to say, I personally think it's the worst Johnny Depp film he ever did, and I actually didn't like the live action one. I didn't think it needed a
That,
sequel. I didn't think it
that
was
was
that good.
the sequel to the live action Alice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I literally didn't even see it. I didn't bother.
Okay. What did you think of the first one?
Uh,
Okay.
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 Here's one I think
I-
we agree on. Well, we don't know what Donna's opinion is, but I would actually argue this film has become better with age. Which is King Kong 2005, which it had a budget of 207 million. But at the time when this film came out, we've discussed this before. You know, people thought it was bad. People didn't really care for it too much. You know, Peter Jackson put a lot of work into it, and we've said previously we think it was just because Peter Jackson it was being put up against Lord of the Rings and everything else he did. So people were like, "Oh God, this is just terrible." Film here that I'm actually going to say, and I don't know if anyone else really cares for this film, but I don't care for any of them, which is Transformers 2017. This one is The Last Night, I might add. Not even the first one. I thought the first one was going to be on here, but this one had a budget of 217 million. I think the entire Transformers franchise is garbage, but that's me.
Yeah.
I don't care for it. It's
Same.
not good.
Michael Bay doesn't want you to pretend you never saw his previous film.
I am getting nervous when I'm online, and I know I shouldn't be on TikTok. I know that it's poison, but I'm getting nervous when I'm seeing TikToks, them posting these clips of Transformers, and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot there were stupid children who were watching these things. Who don't have a sense of quality, and so that's what they're like. We also liked garbage as children.
Don't get me wrong.
True.
That's the point.
We defend our garbage
Power
pretty hard.
Rangers.
We did, but
Power
I'm so
Power Rangers is garbage, but it's good garbage.
there are so many children who probably watch the Transformers movies and are like, "Oh,
this is the greatest thing ever."
Now that I'm an adult with thoughts, I'm going to talk about how good I love these Transformers movies. I'm just going to be like, I can't validate your feeling anymore.
It's garbage with a budget. That's what kind of makes the difference, because it's bad. There was a lot of bad cartoons, a lot of bad animated movies when we grew up, and we watch them, and we love them. We talked about it on the show, but Transformers is one of those things where they come out every 2 to 3 years steadily since the late 2000s, and they are all, even in their eyes, I would say subpar, because it's all action. There's no story that they really are following that's great.
And the action is bad. It's not good to look at. It's not fun. It's not like
sluggish.
It's just nothing. It's just like it's just metal bukkake on the screen. That's all it is. It's
CGI metal.
Yeah.
All right. So we got the
I will
Hobbit.
give the CGI. My turn. I was polite.
Okay.
So I believe the CGI was pretty good. The acting could have been so much fucking better.
No.
But my girls do like this movie, so they win the TV sometimes, so I put up with it, But if they had better actors in it, I think the movie could have been better.
Okay. So the other one we have is The Hobbit: Desolation of Smaug, which had 225 million. I'm not going to spend too much time. I mean, we did a whole goddamn special on how much we hate that movie.
So it's just so depressing. So depressing.
Here's an interesting one, my audience, and I hope you're still following us here on these budgeted films. Avatar 2009 budgeted 237 million to make it. Of course, that was a huge film. Now I'm gonna speed a little through, guys. Pirates of the Caribbean: The Stranger Tides 2011 budgeted 250 million. That one was personally like that one.
Yeah,
but that started the downturn of the franchise, and I thought that movie was
that is also
the pinnacle of the
I've seen in TikToks.
And here's one I think we can all agree on. Spider-Man 3 had a $258 million budget and basically tanked.
Yeah.
Superman Returns 2006. That tanked as well, 270 million.
We talked about that, yeah.
And now here is, of course, the #1 movie of all time, which I do expect it to be #1, and I do expect it to be on top with the budget which it had, which was of the Avengers Endgame, 356 million. I expected that. I did. And Avatar, of course, is there too. Here's where I'm going with this, my audience. Just because a movie spends a lot on its special effects doesn't mean the outcome is always great. I say this too because in defense of my opinion here that this is not going to be good because the first movie was basically Pocahontas in space. Nothing wrong with that. Personally like that story. Think it's great. Seen it a dozen times, but I recognize it. Don't put it on a pedestal. Don't say Avatar is the greatest film of all time because it's not even original. Now we're starting off fresh with an original story. So I hope in an age of where everything is basically copied off itself, he's gonna pull a great fucking rabbit out of his hat with an original story and not just try to wow us with the special effects because obviously, as I've just shown here, special effects don't always win the fucking day. And I also want to point out too, as we've talked about, this film is being shown in America and in China at the same time to boost numbers, as they've said. And the critics who are basically saying this movie is great are paid critics. They're not real sharks. Also, remember that, our audience. Not to mention, James Cameron has been on the record now and saying he does not care if this film does bad or does not make its money back. I am predicting, and this is not on any of my crew, this is on your humble host, that this film will have a good rise. It'll do pretty good. I think maybe past Avatar, the first one. I mean, maybe. But I definitely don't think it's gonna go anywhere near Avengers Endgame or anywhere close
What
to.
about the first one for the past?
I don't think it's gonna do as well. I don't. Maybe hit the same. I don't know. That's the only thing I don't think it's gonna tank. I don't think it's gonna break any kind of records personally. I think it's gonna have the 2 week layoff. Like, the movie does great for 2 weeks, everyone sees it, then the real critics start talking about it, then it's just gonna start to float out of the theaters.
Why are they using tactics already? I wonder. Why are
Because
they
I think it's
doing
gonna
like
be
you
bad.
said? Yeah, like why is James Cameron saying that? You know what I mean? Like he's not a dumb director. He knows
He's
what he's
not. Everyone
doing.
knows here. I love James the most. Aliens too, man. Terminator. Come on.
Yeah. But that was the 90s and this is 2022 and it's just weird that he's
He ain't got
like
no money.
that.
He ain't
Yeah,
got his stuff.
it's just weird that like you were saying, Rob, I disagree. It's like we understand Avatar was supposed to be this big movie. It became the big movies, but like we've said on the
Smurfs.
podcast before, yeah, it's about the effects. And now they're holding their breath for so and so minutes. These actors,
I'm
like,
sorry. That
okay,
makes me laugh.
why do I care about that? Why are they? We're filming in a giant tank.
Twice
Like,
before.
cares?
That with the Abyss too. Yeah, Ed Harris almost drowned in the water. And James Cameron's like, I don't give a fuck. And then Ed Harris punched him in the face.
Yeah. But the whole thing about that's a good one too. Like what the Abyss has kind of over this isn't just like the cult following that made Abyss, good.
I think Abyss is just honestly as a film. I'd give it maybe a 6.5.
Is it because of the length? Because this is another one that's long. This is going to be over 3 hours.
No, I just think the Abyss is just okay. I think it's okay, but there are a lot of stories that have stemmed from the Abyss, so I'll give it that.
And then, like you were saying, Rob, the Way of the Water is going to be quote unquote original that we know until we see this. But again, it's another 3-hour long film that we're going to be having to sit through. Are you going to be that engaged with people holding their breath underwater, talking with, all these sea creatures and stuff like that?
If AOA, as they call their deity in that movie, was the earth and the tree and all that shit, what is the water? My opinions go very, very inappropriate, my audience. I'm sorry, but it does.
Yeah.
Made me think of Moana. Moana.
It's like, you think it's like Moana, like the spirit of the water?
Yeah.
Don't get me started. It calls me. No one knows how far it goes.
If they break out into any musical in this movie, and it has
myself. Personally, I think Moana is great, even though it's just their basic. Basically, that was Disney saying, "Hey guys, forgive us for Pocahontas and all our, native insensitivity. Here's a movie that we kind of did some research on.
We did it, yeah.
We basically were like, they're islanders, whatever. They're Pacific Islanders. Okay, we'll go with that.
I know you like Lilo and Stitch. Well, we're gonna take the Pacific Islanders pretty
Yep.
serious this time.
And we'll take it seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Avatar the 2, and again, this is just 2 out of 3, right? Because this is a trilogy,
This
and
is
they are
2
like
out of So he's got
That's
3
great.
more here.
he's got 3 more,
Well, there'll be a 4 to 5. So
4 and a 5. So they're doing this already on film 2. They're acting like this is the end of like a Star Wars film, for the second
Maybe they're hoping it
installment.
will be.
It's
Maybe
like,
they're hoping that this movie takes so bad that they don't redo it, or anyone else will touch it. Kind of like The Last Airbender. I love that movie.
that would
But
just
there's
I love
no,
that movie too, personally,
there's
but I
no
know a lot of people
more.
that hate it, and it's because honestly, I never watched the show. Never watched it.
yeah. I've never seen the show either, but I didn't I didn't get all the hate, but that would be
it was a very bad movie. It was an
yeah,
extreme.
that would just be so funny that if it goes past that.
I just never, and I know a lot of people, and I won't lie about this. Maybe I'm trolling some of you out there by saying I like The Last Airbender, but I'll tell you this: I did watch the show, and when I'm personally a Shyamalan guy, here and there, and when I saw it, I was like, okay, well, that's what they're doing, and everyone's like, how dare you say that's like how Last Airbender is, and I'm like, I don't think it's that bad.
It's not. Me and my daughters
Yeah.
watch it to go to sleep at night. That's our little thing, unless I turn on my other
Airbender.
podcast.
The budget
Yeah.
was 150 million, 150 million for it. So I don't know. I just think it came out at a weird time, and they just, yeah, it is what it is, kind of thing.
Okay, crew. I want to ask the crew, and you are out there, my audience. I was basically doing some shopping here on some films. Basically trying to get the holiday spirit because your host here absolutely hates the holidays. My favorite film, of course, is Bad Santa. I've told this many countless times. One of the things I really, really think is hilarious, though, and you know, one of the things I always thought was so funny and slash stupid was Elf on the Shelf. I get it. I get it. Do not explain to me the whole point of it. I get it. I get it,
Will
everybody.
Ferrell. All I need to say.
Will Ferrell. No, I mean Elf on the
Silly.
Shelf. You put an elf on the shelf and you hide it different places around the house so your kids can find it.
Yeah.
Cool. There's a movie out called uh, Kill on the Shelf, which is basically Elf on the Shelf with a knife.
That doesn't even fit.
Why?
Word. It doesn't even.
I think it's Knife on the Shelf or Kill on the Shelf, but basically it's something on the shelf, and it's hilarious. Um, and it kind of got me seriously thinking here. How many Christmas horror movies are there? So, I look around. There's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Used to be a genre that was almost taboo. And now
There-
this is
oh,
a
it's
genre that's like really kind of renowned. It's like once we have a Christmas classic, let's make a horror film off of it. And I'm here right now, Warner Brothers, Disney, every studio to listen to my idea for this next Christmas horror classic. Here's what you do. We remake The Grinch. We have a story about a creature that loves Christmas so much that he enters a town and he murders everybody in it. And they have to investigate the story.
That's the end.
That's the end. And
it all happens on a snowflake like the original.
Look, if they can do that with the leprechaun, where the leprechaun kills everyone, why can't we do that for,
The Grinch.
the Grinch? The Grinch is evil twin. I mean, we have Santa Claus and then we have Krampus. Why not have an evil Grinch?
Luke, she's with me. I know you have to be with me on this idea.
Yeah, what's that?
The Grinch, basically, we make a real-time Grinch film where the Grinch goes around killing everybody. He's so envious of Christmas. He enters a small town and just murders everybody.
The Grinch did not hate Christmas. He hated people because they made fun of him. There's a difference.
Yeah, but that's from the real-time movie. I'm more going off the cartoon. I'm
The
saying we
cartoon
take
where
the
he's just like,
cartoon
"I
and
hate
we
you."
just have him murder people.
Stiff. Yeah, I like it. I think that works.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
Who would play the evil Grinch?
Jim Carrey.
Don't none of you say none of you say Will Ferrell.
Jim Carrey again. I would have Jim Carrey.
Juicy, my pick.
Okay, my husband said Adam Sandler.
Oh, okay, Adam Sandler. So Luke, what are you? Christmas joy or Christmas horror now?
Probably still Christmas joy. Like, I will give a shout out to the Gary Busey movie Ginger Dead Man. Which and then of course there's that one Jack Frost video.
Amazing.
The shift one where it was like, oh, it looks like little Jack. Oh, it's crazy. Solid. Actually, I think the most prominent Christmas horror film has been Krampus. That's cool. I've been a big Krampus proponent since maybe since like 2010 or so, and that was before Krampus got really big.
So do you believe in Krampus?
I do believe in Krampus.
So for those of you who don't know, Krampus is a creature who comes out and takes all the bad kids and basically puts them in his little basket of misery.
Burns them up, and if you ever do get I really want to do this one day, like, because in Europe, a lot of places in Europe, they will have Krampus. They will just have the most ball-shrinkingly terrifying versions of Krampus just run around the middle of the night during Christmas festival.
Do you want to run around the middle of the night at Christmas and scare the fuck out?
I want to try it at least once.
Do that.
I love the idea of like being in a European village, somewhere like in Austria. You're watching the scene. There's the lights. There's the tiny little cottage homes that are still up from 100 years ago, and just this absolute demon screaming at you and harassing children.
See, some of the videos I've seen is if you dress up and you get the most kids to scream, like, you get bragging rights for that year.
Yeah.
Is that really a thing in Europe?
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yeah, all European Christmas traditions are creepy as hell. It's just
well, even Santa Claus, honestly, it is European in nature. Is creepy as fuck. The big fat man drops in your house and gives you gifts.
You don't know
doesn't
he's
molest
there. Yeah, he doesn't that you know of.
That he watches you while you're sleeping.
Right, he watches. Yeah. See,
that's supposed to be the
thing. If he's watching me while I'm sleeping, and he's watching me while I'm doing everything else.
Really, the only real horror we as Americans experience during the holidays is when we're at the mall watching throngs of seasonally depressed people buy things for people they hate.
Hey, that's me. Thank you.
That's most.
That's the core.
That's
That's me, Luke. Are you saying you should just follow me around with the camera?
I see this year, and I bought all my stuff off of Amazon. Just for the fact that I did not have to go out in public and see people.
That's fair, yeah.
That is fair. And you know what? Bah humbug to everybody when it comes to the holidays.
Robert,
if you're not a big horror
that you had said earlier about the evil side of the Grinch, so I looked into it. There is an evil side of the Grinch movie production in the making.
Okay. So I was a little late there, but great minds think alike. Okay. Great. So maybe they should send me a resume, a application here, because obviously didn't know that. But I got more. Don't worry, I got more. We can come up with some more stuff. So anyway, there's a shark, okay, and he makes a Christmas wish.
It makes a wish somehow. All right, I'm on it.
Makes a wish to come onto land and have legs like a mermaid, and then
the
he just murders everybody.
So kind of like the Little Mermaid, but a psycho version.
Wait, so hold on. So he's like a reverse merman where he's got human legs, like a man legs, but he's got like the big shark top head. He's just running around.
Got a better one for you, Steve. And I know Steve will really love this.
Maui when he like messes up the hook and he's trying to transform and he's a half shark, half man on bottom.
Real quick, is this an actual movie or is this your pitching a movie idea?
No, pitching a movie.
Here's where it's losing me. because I get the whole point of like a shark gets the legs, kills people. Like the wish, the connection to a Christmas, it's very flimsy. It could have been any wish. I don't know where Chris. I don't.
It was on Christmas. It was a Christmas wish.
It's happening on Christmas.
Yes.
The shark just looking up in the ocean, looking at a star.
I got a better one, guys. I got a better one. Here's my other one. Okay, so we go back to London, right? And it's basically during the area of Jack the Ripper, and Jack the Ripper again. Hold on, Jack the Ripper again is murdering people to give presents to the needy, right? But when he actually reveals himself in the end, he's the Elephant Man.
So is he like knocking on people's doors with like a phone card?
We talked about
Yes, madam. Could you help the needy?
We talked about this. That wouldn't work.
But this time, Luke, he's like, this is like the.
Hello, madam.
Yeah.
To do collections and donations.
This is like the Christmas Carol, but he's doing bad by killing. But in the end, he comes and is like, I'm good. I'm the Elephant Man. He's vilifying murder. He's like, those people were bad. I had to get rid of them. Here's a holiday turkey. Merry Christmas.
For all those of you who are listening, still listening, this is the round table version of the show. So everything is on the table here. No opinions. I'm just saying. I'm just taking the idea and saying, Jack the Ripper Christmas special with the Elephant Man as the.
I'm definitely on board with the idea of Jack the Ripper at Christmas time. I can fuck with this.
Same here, because Jack the Ripper is my favorite unsolved murder case.
Well, some people think he was the Elephant Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
look up the Elephant Man.
He was known as the Elephant Man, who's no.
Look at the Elephant Man right now, Donna. Go look up the Elephant Man right now and tell us if this guy murdered was Jack the Ripper right now. Just off the whim, tell us right now if that man, if he looks like he could be Jack the Ripper. I will wait for your reaction here.
Rob, looks are deceiving, okay? The man wore a bag over his head.
They never would have seen it coming. Help me, dear. Some blood in my eye.
See, she has the same thought process as I. He'd be like, hello, madam. I'm here to commit murder.
You do that, and the first thing I think of is hello, Clarice.
Hello, Clarice. Hello, Miss Prostitute. My name is.
Well, you know what? He had that. He had a messed up hand, right? Isn't that his deal?
Yeah, he had the messed up hand.
Yes.
So the other one, the knife.
There's no way the Elephant Man could have been Jack the Ripper.
See, that's up in the air now. I think we've discussed it enough to put it out there now that people are really going to start to believe this. I mean, I think I'm starting to convince Luke here that that's possible.
Listen, just picture it. 1888. This is back when the Jack the Ripper murders occurred. So it's 1888. There's no street lights or anything else like that, but this man was able to dismember and disembody female parts by a little bitty handheld light. Yeah, no,
surgical hand. He had to hold that light like this, and then he had to use.
maybe he put it on the side of his eyeball.
Or actually, I think he had a monoclip. So I don't know how he pulled that off. That's a mystery in itself. How they.
Well, I will say this, Rob. I'm putting this to bed for now because this will never be done. It's now discovered at in history.com that the Elephant Man has been cited and buried at the same cemetery as Jack the Ripper.
No, that is not.
As the victim. Because they've never caught Jack
That
the
is
Ripper.
not true.
Hey, don't take my word for this. The legend lives on. It's
that's not true.
Jonathan Merrick.
Right, how about this? You know what, Steve? You're gonna have to prove it. Field trip for all of us. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, me proving this whole thing. I mean, I would have to give you 3 hours and what is the Elephant Man first, and then how he had one perfectly good hand. Just look at one picture of Jack the Ripper, You don't see his other hand sometimes, and then you see that.
Shit, Luke.
see
I
one
mean,
hand.
Steve, you are absolutely right. You
Yeah.
are absolutely
And
right.
then you
It says
see
the Ripper was an active murderer in 1888 while Merrick
1888.
died in 1890. So it made sense
1890.
they could
But
be buried in the same cemetery.
yeah, so they could
I
be
mean,
buried
they
in the same.
could be.
Could.
Yeah.
Could be.
Could.
Could be.
But then again, I don't know. Like, this is off subject. Like, we're getting into the stuff I like. Like, I could talk about this for hours. But one part of me does not think Jack the Ripper was a male. I think it was a female. You know, usually to be able to get prostitutes, night workers.
Could have been the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
The queen.
maybe you never know. I mean, they had a lot of dark history. But I
This
mean,
is true.
it could have been a female who worked side by side with a surgeon husband or something, and that husband was having an affair with a prostitute, got her pregnant, and she just went apeshit because us women are crazy.
Interesting.
Rob
Luke,
trying.
Luke, what's your opinion on all this?
The Elephant Man was not Jack the Ripper. No, he wasn't. I always really liked the theory that was promoted in From Hell. It's not probable, I believe.
No, the Masons.
Well, sort of. It was a Mason who was working on behalf of the Queen.
Right.
The first victim was somebody who may have been pregnant with one of the prince's child out of wedlock. And that was the first kill. The second one was somebody who was familiar with the situation, and then the other three were designed as cover-up, so that it did not look like
the very last one was the most brutal of his kills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which From Hell's, they propose it as the the decreasing mental state of the guy who did it, but we don't know. I think the most
gonorrhea.
I believe the most probable one. I believe they said that it might have been this Polish gentleman.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Yeah, I heard that.
Because similar crimes were committed where he moved after he left London, and they were the same kind. They just never were able to correlate these cases together.
Yeah.
There was someone like that in New York. He had built a house of terror, and when he left,
did you say a house of hair?
Terror.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you mean H.H. Holmes?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Look at him go.
Yeah.
I thought maybe H.H. Holmes and Jack the Ripper were the same person.
Interesting.
Yeah. The other really boring theory is that like these were all just 5
copycats
murdered process. Yeah, these were just all. This was just a very unfortunate month for prostitutes in Victorian London.
Oh God, dude!
It's just a very bad trend kicked off there.
Right.
For a while.
It was like the TikTok challenge of the day. Kill a prostitute.
Challenge of the day.
You notice how my own family member here, when I say some of these things, she is shocked by them. I love
it. No, not
these
really
are
shocked.
things we need to know. We need to know this. I need to know. It's infamous that Jack the Ripper had like some type of top hat, right? That's like one of the images I think I remember seeing.
Yes, he had to have the big top hat, and he had to have
the trench coat. Yeah.
I say he was hiding his tools in that top hat.
I
think he was hiding them underneath the coat.
Yeah.
Nah, that's too obvious. They would be
open it up and be like, "This is your weapon of choice."
Top
Let's
hat.
see. What do we have?
The top hat was for a little rat that sat on his head and helped him do it better because he wasn't very good at it.
Prequel.
So the rat helped him murder prostitutes better.
It's Ratatouille's backstory in his family.
There's another film right there.
I gotta go mute. Continue talking. I gotta.
Well, actually, look, we're gonna sign off right now. So this has been the Real Sharks podcast. This has been your host Rob with his 2 noble co-hosts Steve and Luke, and Donna, our new female co-host. So make sure you listen, like, and subscribe to the Real Sharks podcast wherever podcasts are heard. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Jagged Tooth Clothing and help support our show by buying our shirts. We thank you and good night. And we'd like to say we will catch you guys on the flip side from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.